Well, I feel so fortunate today to have a friend of mine, an old friend of mine, on our podcast. It's Anton Marano. So, Anton, thank you for taking the time to do this with me.
No problem, Jack. Glad to participate.
You want to just tell some people about like what you do and who you are, so just some background, anything that comes to mind?
Uh, sure. I mean, professionally, personally, where would you all of it?
Wherever you like to go.
Um, I'm third generation in a family business. I've been the CEO since 2016. Um, we've got 1,200 employees, and we we have been using servant leadership since 1947 to run our company. And I've got a family, 3 kids, and yeah,
That's great. Anton, what does your company do?
we are a wholesale produce company. Um, and started in 1947. So,
1947. What did it start out selling? What kind of produce?
we started out with selling just tomatoes,
And what do you
and
sell now?
we sell the whole spectrum of fresh produce, fruits and vegetables. If it's grown and it's in volume, we sell it.
And
So
who do you
include
go
that
ahead?
that would include that include items for different ethnicities like Indian people and Asian people and Hispanics, along with just all the regular conventional items.
And who do you sell it to?
Um, so we hit a lot of the spokes in the wheel in the produce side of the business, which is we sell retailers, we sell food service people, we sell ingredient based companies like a Factor 75, um, and yeah.
How would you say your company is known in the industry compared to others, your competitors, for example?
In the industry, we're known as I guess as we're ahead of the curve, and um, we I guess we probably known more like a if you were gonna compare us to like a tech company, more like an Apple company. We're very innovative. We're ahead of the curve. We're always looking to see how we can um, add value to our customers and what they're doing.
So you've got a creative knack or a creative gift around seeing innovation that would be useful, don't you?
Yes.
Can you give our audience a couple examples of things you've done that maybe were risky things, but they were cutting edge things that worked out?
Well, one of the things that I did was actually engaging you and bringing you into our company and having you work with our people and um, first started with obviously me and my brother, which you guys which you helped transform our relationship. And I've got a VP of people and culture that I hired. He was a principal consultant at the Table Group, which was owned by Patrick Lencioni. And I worked with him for 4 years, and we hired him on to be our VP of People and Culture. That's been great. He helps with people. He helps with the teams. He helps individual coaching as well from just a business perspective. We just recently, let's see, 5 years ago in 2020, we opened up market cuts. We're doing fresh cuts, fruits and vegetables. That was something we were never involved in and did not know how to do. And then recently we acquired a business in Atlanta because we were planning on replicating our formula of what we do here in the Midwest in the Southeast.
Fantastic. I've been in your building and I've seen a number of tours, and people seem so impressed when they walk through your place about how you're doing what you do.
Yes, I agree with that.
So let's take a walk down memory lane for a little bit. So, do you have any idea how long it was ago that we met, you and I, and under what circumstance?
I do remember very vividly. It was a forum group It was offsite. It was a 2-day offsite with a YPO forum group, and you were there for the moderator.
Yeah, and and we, you and I, kind of clicked in that meeting for some reason. Do you know why?
um, I mean, I guess my version was I believe sharing some of my challenges being in a family business with a father and trying to figure out that dynamic, and um, I think I was pretty decisive on what needed to happen. And man, I don't know. What's your take? Actually, I'd like to know.
I could hardly remember, but I do believe that there was something about how I was showing up that made you think that I would be useful in helping you. First of all, with your relationship with your brother, right?
Yes.
Do you remember what was going on with your brother? And don't talk about anything that's you feel is sensitive or you don't want to share. Okay.
Um. Yeah. I mean, so we had recently taken over the company from our father, and my brother and I owned the business 50-50. Um. And we had I'd say we weren't aligned on um owning the company 50-50 and having 50-50 responsibility. We were not aligned on it, and he felt that he should have 50% responsibility, and we were at different points of our career, and I didn't think it was going to be healthy for his career and whatnot. I didn't think he was going to be able to handle it, and we just were butting heads over that, and things started to diminish between us. And um you I believe helped us identify that it was a lack of appreciation, and it was a lack of appreciation. And yeah.
So a 50-50 is kind of always tough or almost always tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But there is truth that you two are very different people and you do have very different gifts.
Yes.
And so rather than like fighting for one spot, it's probably far more constructive to figure out what each of you does better than the other and then deploy that optimally.
Yes. Yeah, I think one of the a great lesson that I learned from you is understanding what people's geniuses are and help them help them embrace that.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if everybody understands the concept of genius. If you were to explain it, how would you describe it?
Somebody's genius, I would explain, is what comes naturally and easy to them, and it actually almost doesn't feel like work.
Ah, right. And my belief is everybody's got something like that. Most people don't know what that is.
Correct.
So that's one of your commitments. You move people around to find the place where they fit the best, don't you?
Based on their genius. Yeah, the other analogy that really I connected with, that I don't know if you shared it with me or I found it somewhere else, but don't ask a fish to climb a tree.
That's great. That's great. Yep.
And we had many conversations, not around my brother, but I think different people in our business. And you're like, so you're asking a fish to climb a tree, and that really resonated with me a lot. And I there was times where I was asking fish to climb a tree.
Yeah. Didn't work out too well,
No,
huh? So things got better with you and your brother. I'm sure they haven't been like perfect, but they improved.
they're the best they ever have. Our relationship is I really couldn't be happy with our relationship.
Oh, great. It's fantastic. So then you asked me to come in and work with the company, at least the leadership in the company.
Yes.
What did you have in mind when you do you remember what you had in mind when you brought me in?
Yeah, I seen um I you have a gift. You have a gift. You have a genius, and I seen your genius at work, and I wanted, the people that were in our company to experience your gift to help them, not only professionally but personally.
Um, can you put what you think my gift is into words, or is that tough to do?
I think you're an amazing listener, and you take things that are complex and you dial it down to something very simple, and um and bite size where people could digest it, and can't embrace it. And yeah, you just keep things very simple.
So you brought me in. I would come in like once a month, right? Like for once a month for overnight
Yep.
and meet with individuals and meet with groups, leadership teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess in those days I was kind of we teaching a book or ideas, right? Do you
Yes.
remember?
Do I remember where we started?
Yeah, I don't think I do.
I don't. You know what? We've been on this journey for a while now.
We have been. Do you think it helped people, the things I was teaching?
I know it helps because I quite frequently circle back around with our employees that do engage you on their own with one-on-ones, and even the book club that we have. And um, it's you've the one-on-ones that you've had with people. You've impacted their lives. I mean, I get nothing like, wow, it was amazing talking to Jack. So um, I circle back often to hear, just to make sure that, they're getting something out of it. Um, and then the book club that we do once a month, it really helps everybody just slow down, and you ask provocative questions, and yeah, you really help people um, understand what they're learning.
Anton, does it work for everybody?
I don't know that it works for everybody, but I will say that 80% I feel really get a lot out of what you do. At least 80%.
And do you think that what they get stays with them, or do you think it goes away?
Well, I know that what you've taught me in the time that I've spent with you has stayed with me.
You mean that, don't you?
Sincerely.
Can you put into words anything in particular that you've learned that has stayed with you?
Well, uh working with people's genius has really impacted my journey, and I'm sincerely way more cognizant of that. Um Another lesson that you taught me is was around my children, is I needed to share things with them in smaller bite sizes and let them drink through a straw instead of uh, dousing them with a fire hose. So, um, you know, I don't know. Like any time that I've gone to you for advice or share a complicated situation or looking for just, I sometimes don't even know what I'm looking for when I talk to you, and then you come up with this. You come up with this. You figure it out. It's really amazing sometimes.
Kind of one of the last themes that you and I have kind of been working on or worked on together is becoming more like Jesus.
Oh yeah,
It's,
yes.
that's kind of a strange conversation to have in a business, isn't it? Hi, everybody. Hey, I've discovered that there are only two ways people try to create success for themselves in their lives. The first way is probably the most popular way, which is I'm going to find somebody who I see as successful and I'm going to try to be like them. I'm going to study their life. I'm going to eat what they eat. I'm going to read their books and I'm going to practice being like them. You know, the only problem with trying to be somebody you're not is that it's impossible to do. And sooner or later, you just fall short or give up. You just can't do it. The second way to create success is to double down on discovering who you are. You know, everybody is amazingly unique and has been given a gift to live life that can be very powerful if you discover it and develop it. And that's what I do. I work with people not who want to be like somebody else, who want to figure out who they are and align their life with who they are. If that's you, give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you and discover if you're the kind of person I can help. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I don't. Again, I don't look at you, and I ask the people that work for us that engage you not just to look at you as just business, like in your own personal life. And I think you've helped me every bit in my personal life, maybe even more in my personal life than at work, quite honestly. And since we started having that conversation about being more like Jesus, and um, I've I pray more, I ask for more guidance, and I'm doing things that I was not doing before.
You know, and really, I mean it. in some ways literally, in some ways I mean it as a metaphor about learn to lead from a place of love, right? Learn to lead from a place of humility. So it's just so easy for people in positions like yours to lead from a place of power and control.
Yeah, you've helped me with that as well.
So it is interesting. You even introduced me to your children to work with you and them. Uh,
Yes.
and do you think that's been helpful?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to my daughter Mia, and she felt that she got good direction out of the conversation, and yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that's fascinated me about you is as you've grown, you've also expanded your network, and you've kind of gotten involved in with special forces kind of people.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how you got involved in that and what your involvement is?
Yeah. So um I got I belong to I belong to a golf club on the West Coast called Monterey Peninsula Country Club, and they're heavily involved with the post naval graduate school. And a lot of their events are held at the club. And I was invited to participate in some of these events and get to know some of our special forces and whatnot. And um, after attending and participating, getting to know some of the people, that the Green Berets, as well as some of the board members, I was invited to be part of the board, which I was completely humbled and honored. I'm like one of the youngest people on this board, and um, it's just very being able to spend time with special forces people. It's very they're very humble. They call them the quiet professionals. You never know who they are, and learning this, when you learn about their journeys and the sacrifices that they make personally to do what they do and be away from their families for 9 months at a time, and in unsafe places, living in tents and high heat, and you know other things, you really start to I had a whole I had a new perspective. I didn't have that perspective before. I never got, really, and you hear these things firsthand. It was like a calling for me, quite honestly.
So you were impressed with the quality of people
Amazed.
and wanted to participate in, well, supporting that.
Yes.
You actually have hired some people with that background in your company, haven't you?
Yeah, I've hired five special forces, four men and one gal.
And did it turn out like you expected it to?
Better.
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 Okay.
That's why we have five now. Their leadership, their problem solving skills, their communication, um, their ability to handle stress, to remain calm under pressure. Um, it's they're an untapped resource. They're truly a gift.
Um, you've made referrals to me from time to time, people you know in the community or have done business with, and I'm sure you know most of them have not really worked out very well. Do you have any insight as to why that might not work for people?
Um, I think when people talk to you, they have to be willing to change.
Uh, that's not easy for some people, is it?
I don't think it's easy for a lot of people,
Hmm.
you know. Um, so, but I think, um, here at our company, we embrace change. We embrace um, getting out of your comfort zone, learning and growing. And so I think it's been easier for our people here to embrace talking to you and then doing something about it, because they're willing to take the first steps.
Yeah, part of what I always thought is valuable that I can bring is helping people grow as people. I mean, we teach people a lot of skills, but if they still stay midgets as people, they aren't nearly as effective as if they grow as a human being.
Correct. And that's the journey, and that's the journey that I believe that you and I have been on, because I'm like, I want to help our people grow as people, not just focus on what's happening at work, but them as people.
Yes, you see the business value in that, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you've really embraced that, committed to it.
Well, our growth, so interesting. Our growth strategy here at the Anthony Marano Company is, we grow our business by growing our people first. And
Ah,
we recognize that if we grow our people, um, they will focus on growing our business because they become more confident. They end up outgrowing what they're currently doing, and they've got room to take on more.
so is the Anthony Marano Company successful?
Um, for us and for me, yes.
Did you have a good year this last year?
Knock on wood, yes.
So it would seem that your philosophies work, wouldn't it?
It is. It works. You can't move very fast when you're, it's one of those, it's probably a lot like growing produce. You have to plant it, you have to water it, it's got to get sun. It takes time to get there. You can't force it.
Well, it's been delightful catching up with you again, and I really appreciate you for sharing our journey together from your point of view.
Anytime, Jack. I love working with you, and whatever I can do to support you and help you with your journey, I'm here for you.
And I for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.